I talked yesterday, for those of you who are here, about what we're hoping to end up with at the end of this conference. So in addition to having a really exciting opportunity for you to talk to one another, to learn about things, about issues and go deeper, we also want to come out with an idea of our current thinking. Really, what is this movement? Where is it going post-2020? And where do we see as the key priorities? What do we see as the key priorities? And what do we see as Canada's real role in the post-2020 agenda to get us to that 2030 agenda? So the purpose of this session today is, this is our opportunity to hear from you in a really deliberate way. So I don't know how many of you were at our AGM in November. Put up your hands if you're at our AGM in November. Okay. So you would be familiar with the resonance style of sitting in small groups and staring into one another's eyes and learning how to really listen. So we tried at our last AGM to introduce a new way to hear each other and to hear each other's opinions, thoughts, and to go a little bit deeper. And we worked with a really groundbreaking organization called the Resonance Center out of Peterborough. And they taught us some new skills and ways of doing things. And we're taking a little bit of that spirit to this session today. Not a lot. We're not going to make you sit in triads and look into each other's eyes, but we are going to use some of the tools that they shared with us. So the purpose today is twofold. First, we want to connect you, the delegates, around what you heard over the past day and a half now. What are you hearing as the consistent themes? What are you understanding from your colleagues? We want to get to that point where those messages hit home and go deeper. And we want to harvest information from your learnings. We want to actually hear back and be able to take, in a bit more of a comprehensive way, what's being said at this conference, so that rather than just issuing you a conference report that repeated what we said in the sessions, we're able to get to something a little bit more dynamic and exciting. So how are we going to do this? We've separated the tables into life stages. So a different little age stage in your life. Can someone hold up one of the, excellent. So we've got pregnancy, we've got toddler and early childhood, we've got adulthood, we've got pre and postnatal, we've got senior years, adolescence, infancy. So we've got all the different life stages and a facilitator at each table with one of those life stages. So multiple life stages are repeated. So what we'd ask is for you to think through where your expertise is, look at who's at your table and whether you have expertise in that particular, just hold on though, no one move yet, I'll give the full instructions. But what you will do once I'm done is look and think, is this so if you're a child health expert, then make sure that you're in one of those child health life stages. And if you're an expert in senior care or something like that, make sure you're in that life stage. But where can you contribute most? That's one question. And then you'll have, at your table, your facilitator will have a sheet. Everyone will get a sheet of paper. And the first 3 to 5 minutes is going to be in silence, where you're going to respond to the question on your sheet of paper based on your life stage. So the questions are broad enough that everyone should be able to contribute. And you're going to write down what it is you think about that question based on your life stage. Your facilitator at the table will time it. And then once that 3 to 5 minutes is up, and I would ask if 2 to 3, not 3 to 5, 2 to 3 minutes is up. And I would ask you to just respect the silence. It's great when you're sitting with your colleagues and you want to chat, but let's try to be a bit resonant style about it and take a few moments in silence to do that writing and thinking. And then you'll just go around and share. And the idea with the resonant style is that you're not sharing building on one another so that you don't get start going down pathways and then forget about the rest of the possibilities. So that's why you write it down in advance. You write your thoughts down in advance so that you're sort of resharing. And if 3 people say the exact same thing, there you go, they're resonating and it's a theme. So write down your thoughts on your paper. Your facilitator will then bring you to have that conversation. They will be taking some notes, but at the end, it's very important. We would like all those notes and all that writing. We have people who can read even the most challenging doctor scripts, so don't worry about it being messy or misspelled or anything like that. In terms of translation, so one of the real challenges with this style of dialogue is that we have two languages, and like myself, not everyone can speak both languages, and so how do you get translation to be active and integrated? So we have our 4 translators that have been in the booths and are in the booths right now, who are going to come out, and if you have a table, the facilitator will identify if you have a table where there's people who don't speak one language or the other, so not a bilingual table, you can have a translator come to the table and work with you. We want people to be able to speak in their language of choice and be able to participate in that way, but we couldn't have 45 translators at the table. So we're hoping that there's enough tables that are bilingual enough to be able to communicate, get their messages across. We don't expect, most of your facilitators are bilingual, but we don't expect them to be doing the translation. So please identify that early on after you've done your couple minutes of silence, and put up your hand if you want one of the translators to come and support you. I think that is everything that I needed to say. You can move from your table if your conversation has concluded or whatever. You can move to another table, but we expect that you would sit at your table for the full time. So one of the other challenges that happens is we have these conversations and we give you 10 minutes to get to the bottom of everything, and then you have to move around. So we decided we have about 40 minutes now after I've spoken, and we wanted to give you that time to have the conversation that you need to have. So with that, I would ask people, the facilitators, to hold up your life stage and make your way to a table with a life stage that you feel like you can contribute to, and we go from there. Okay. If we could close the conversations. I know they're great conversations, and I'm excited. I eavesdropped on a couple of the proceedings at the table, and it sounded like lots of information hitting home. But what we're going to do with the information you provided, we have a qualitative researcher that's going to put that into one of those big fancy qualitative research softwares, get us out some information. We're going to do some analysis working with the Program Advisory Committee, and then we're going to get that report out to you for your comments and thoughts. One mistake we made is that we made these beautiful sheets in French and English, but we forgot to write your life stages on them. So if you could just take a moment now and write in the top corner, adulthood, whatever life stage, life moment you were at, so that we have that information in addition to your response to the question. It should be obvious, but in case it's not, that would be great. The next session is going to start at 3:25, so we're going to run a little bit early, 3:25, and in addition to Parliamentary Secretary Selena being here, at the end, Julie Delahunty, John MacArthur, Caroline Leclerc, all very dynamic and exciting speakers that I think are going to shake things up a little bit for us at the end of our conference. So we tried to get that energy, keep the energy up so that we could end with a bang. And I think we've got the right panel to do it. So please make your way in here at 3:25 and continue the networking for the next few minutes out there. Thanks.